Evidently, I'm not at home right now. I just finished up Anime Expo. I got to play over a dozen different gacha games. Some of them are new and are unreleased. What I wanted to do today was kind of just go over MIRESI specifically. This is a heavily Gooner gacha game. A game that I honestly had way too much fun with. Not just me, but another really good gacha content creator friend of mine, Gacha Smack. So we were flown out to showcase over a dozen different games. We were actually put up in front of hundreds of different people to do showcases for numerous different parts of the event, the booth specifically. So we had this little, I don't know, catwalk style showcase where we had to emulate the walk of the waifu that was on the screen just above us. I really didn't do that good. I'm gonna be completely forthcoming with you. I did terribly. I know like 2 walks. That is it. I really did channel my inner Beyonce for the latter walk, but I don't know, man. I'm not good at doing sexy, suggestive walks. Then we had this event where we were kind of like fist pumping and pounding and like air fisting. I don't even know what you call that. Really, we're just like vibing with the cosplayer, the adorable little cosplayer girl who was honestly very, very talented. And but the bulk of it, well, we actually also had the booth where, you know, the dark booth where we were essentially both Gacha Smack and I, since we're doing our showcase at the same time, we kind of like tag teamed. Wait, no, that comes off as so wrong. Okay, no, we didn't. Well, so we were both there and we're chilling and hanging and we're like kind of competing a little bit, but we essentially the team pushed both Gacha Smack and I into the dark room. They closed the room off and they're like, you just engage in some of the character interaction. Because you could, there's this interactive system in the game where you can touch your waifu. You know, you can treat them well, pet them, cuddle them, caress them, grope them. I'm sorry about that. Just had a little cough. I think I caught something at Anime Expo. And Gacha Smack and I, well, my wife, Mrs. Stix, was there filming the entire thing. Gacha Smack left his wife and kid at home, so he had a little more. I think they were going to be a little more lenient with how he acted. So there he was. There I was. We were attempting to touch all of the sensitive areas. When he decided he was going to go ahead and trigger her ultimate ability. Now, how we know they have an ultimate ability is that the devs themselves told us. They're like, when you go in there, you need to make sure you touch you pet the kitty. And what that entails is, touching them. And then they have this big engulfing white light that they are labeling their ultimate ability. When the reality is, it was just this big orgasmic event. And it was very cool. That was that. And then we had the actual gameplay, which was surprisingly good, surprisingly fun. If you thought the cosplayers were Gooner, if you thought the event was Gooner, you haven't seen the gameplay. Well, I mean, no, you have seen the gameplay. It's been playing in the background. But man, the story, the 3D character models for the story, the character interactions between one another, they're all beautiful. They're all smooth. And I will preface this entire thing. This is a demo. So like this video here isn't a full review of the game at its release. Rather, it is an impressions video of what was available in this test phase. This is not the beta. A beta is coming. You can pre-register for that if you are interested, but for the most part, this is like pre-beta gameplay and pre-beta footage, pre-beta features. But you can fully interact with your waifus. You could do that in-game. There is this like fully manual control area where you take one of the waifus that you want, and then you can run around with them. You can actually engage with lots of different NPCs around the area as well. They have various different things that you can say and do. It was honestly, I thought this was just going to be kind of like a level and mission-based gacha game. Like, reverse 1999 or something like that, like Ether Gazer. But no, you can actually fully deploy your characters, fully deploy your waifus into a large area and just run around. You can engage with them, you can engage with the environment, you can engage with the characters. It's all very cool, very interactive, very engaging. And it's something that I didn't expect. I bet the vast majority of you weren't expecting this either, which just makes it that much better because it's going to be that much more of an enthralling game that really genuinely captivates you. And running around as the characters, like I chose to run around as the nun because, can you blame me? Why would you choose to run around as anyone other than the nun? She's by far the hottest character in the game at this juncture. So I chose to run around as her. I got some very good views of her. Admittedly, I got some great views of some of the other characters as well. Some of the characters I don't even know if are playable in this version of the game. I don't know if they're even like player characters or if they're just NPCs. Some of the NPCs in this game look crazy good, dude. Like, the quality of gacha games is going up exponentially. There is this affinity level that you have to attempt to reach within the allotted time, and you can fail that, unfortunately. And I don't think I did, and by fail it, I mean fail to like cap it or max out on it, but I think I did pretty well. Ultimately, she seemed very happy. I mean, it's, you know, it's all a learning process for us, right? And then outside of this, because I know I've spent like multiple minutes just talking about how hot the characters are, how great the animations are, how everything essentially looks and feels great and is super hyper extreme levels of degenerate and Gooner, but the gameplay itself is very fun, very engaging. It is a real-time turn-based gacha game. So what this means is that you have like your little action gauge, and the gauge moves you and the enemies at the same time. And then once it is your character's turn, you then decide whether you want to move your characters. You decide if you want to use an ability. These are movement abilities, crowd control abilities, support abilities, damage abilities, damage mitigation abilities. These allow for you to essentially like they provide a lot of different utility. And the utility also comes in the form of movement. So you can, as an example, pull a character out of an upcoming, let's say, frontal cone AoE, so the boss no longer hits them. Or you can move your character closer or to the side or to the rear so you can flank them to deal increased crit damage or something like that. So it provides a lot of these very interesting mechanics that allow for you to, I think, more deeply engage in the combat and express yourself and your characters effectively. I think this adds so many layers of depth to the game that really isn't present in a turn-based gacha game. So I appreciate the real-time element of the combat. The animations are crazy. The ultimate abilities look so freaking degenerate, dude. It's crazy. Admittedly, there was only a finite amount of content in the game, so we didn't get to engage in like multiple bosses or too much of the story, which was honestly decent enough from what I played. The content was finite, but what I played of that finite content was incredibly enjoyable and left me wanting so much more. Unfortunately, there was no gacha present. Unfortunately, the things you could do or the features that you had access to were also limited. I'm assuming in the beta test, you're going to have access to the gear. You're going to have access to, probably not the gacha, but you probably have access to, you know, a more in-depth version of the affinity system. You'll be able to see what kind of classes your characters are or class archetypes your characters are. They'll delve a lot more deeply into it. Ultimately, from what I did, from what I experienced and what I played, this was so much fun. Genuinely, I had an absolute freaking blast, and I cannot wait to play more of it. Completely unsponsored opinion, by the way. This is going to be the Gooner Gacha game of the year when it releases. I hope you guys are ready for it, because my body, my body is